You've described yourself, though, as a progressive Democrat. Do you think when Republicans look at that, they will take pause?
I think the problem is the words that we use to describe things. We've come to define what is a progressive and then have a whole long list of litmus test items. In my governing of Westchester County, I have done things that are progressive and things that are conservative. We were the first county in New York State to provide free public bus transportation during the summertime, which helped indigent individuals. We also managed to convert our bus fleet to electric and hybrid electric to get off of fossil fuels. We've passed laws like a wage theft law to protect our day workers. We have banned conversion therapy, which is important to the LGBTQ community. We've launched initiatives for child care, financial assistance, and Black maternal health care. If you look at those issues, you'd say, hey, George, that's a very progressive record. At the same time, we've cut county property taxes over the last 5 years. We've fully funded the police, and we've had a decrease in violent crime in Westchester County. We honor our veterans, and with a host of different programs and services. Looked at those issues, you'd say, well, George, it's pretty conservative. Is that who you are? And the reality is most people in this society hold views that run the gamut from one wing to the other. They may cluster on certain major issues that define you, but they're not as rigidly ideological as sometimes the lineups in Washington can be, where you have, Matt Gaetz and a Marjorie Taylor Greene on one side, and you have members of the Squad on the other side. So it seems to me that most people, and certainly in my district, which is both a suburban and an urban district, I've run in this turf, by the way, before. I've run for county executive twice in what amounts to 80% of this congressional district. So I'm not an unknown quantity for the people who vote in the 16th district. You show them by your results. What did you accomplish? Did you renovate a major recreational facility that's beneficial to kids of color or African American and Latino kids? That defines who you are, not your own demographics. How do you look at it, and how do you judge the way that we've gone about addressing infrastructure issues? Not just what you say about infrastructure, but what you actually do to fix sewer systems. A lot of this stuff is very interesting, Brittany. I understand that if I'm hanging out with my personal friends, I start talking about infrastructure, their eyes glaze over. But it's important, and if you can show that you've done something concrete and significant, then people understand that you're serious about the job. You're not just in it for the showtime.
No, I actually do find infrastructure and the infrastructure bill that was passed with bipartisan support just a few years ago fascinating. And I am curious, what do you make of these sort of litmus tests in politics these days on both sides of the aisle, where if you don't meet all the criteria, it's almost like you're written off?
Well, unfortunately, that's true. And I think what happens, and I don't certainly blame you personally as part of what I'm about to say, but I think media attention follows the person who says the most outrageous thing. If you say something outrageously conservative or outrageously liberal on the spectrum, the cameras follow you, and you wind up being spotlighted in certain settings. Certainly, cable television news is looking for eye clicks. They're looking for people who turn on. If a guy comes out and says, as I do, let's work together, let's try to solve problems, that's not particularly sexy. If you get somebody out there who accuses somebody of treason or some outrageous statement, that gets attention. And many times, people in politics, not just in the House of Representatives, they're striving for attention more than they are trying to strive for what represents something that creates a positive result. So I think that's why you see a tendency toward ideological responses, because the media finds it more interesting for viewers. But what's interesting to viewers may not be what's good for the body politic. And as people get turned off to government and politics, we run the risk of losing our democracy, because people just look at it and say, I don't trust any of them. They're all liars. All they do is attack the other side. They're corrupt. And that becomes a self-fulfilling narrative.